Okay, how about now? Can you guys hear me? Okay, how about now? Can you guys hear me? Alright, I think you guys are pretty far behind. I'm just going to give this 1 second and wait till I hear myself. I just turned off my fan so I don't... Okay, how about now? Can you guys hear me? Alright.
Scott Haney here for Advanced Window Systems, family owned and operated for over 40 years.
Yeah, so SPV3.2 is coming out on July 6th. So, yeah, I guess this is a first for a lot of you guys to see some of this stuff. So Discovery is just the opening cutscene of Halo. And we have the campaign now separated to Landfall, an Outbreak. Still got a few things we need to change on this, like this background image. Jazz, who does the UI stuff, like see Covenant's not capitalized. English is a second language, so. And we got the Lemuria campaign here too. But I was going to go test some stuff for this mission, None Left Behind. So I figured I'll just try streaming it, because I actually haven't used OBS for streaming.
Everyone fall back.
You guys are hearing feedback from the game, immediately let me know. And I'll put in a headset instead. Although it's super hot in my apartment.
Signals bouncing in and out.
So I'd rather just use my snowball.
We need to move.
This little area is pretty cool. You can speak here, but I already got spotted because I'm distracted looking at the stream. But for this area, I kind of wanted to start the player off and do something different, but there's very little ammunition. So they have to kind of look over here through all the dead bodies to find stuff to fight these guys. And meanwhile, they come to look for the Banshee thinking maybe it's Flood, so you can actually hide in the shadows and ambush them using grenades. They already had a pistol ammo. Ideally, when players actually play this, they'll be looking around at stuff and not looking at the stream and distracted talking. Oh yeah, you guys haven't seen much of the new Banshees, have you? This is kind of cool. We based this partially off of concept art, and that led us looking at different hood designs. And we ultimately went with one that resembles the Elite Ultra helmet. Yeah, if you notice in the HUD, it actually moves and bounces with my player.
Cortana, Chief, is that you? We just picked up your IFA.
And the game audio is coming in
Can
for
you make it
you
to
guys
Alpha
too,
Base?
right?
We need your assistance immediately.
Just gonna avoid this group because crap, I got snipers. On Legendary, the route I'm going isn't really the best one. I'm already almost out of ammo. Ah, crap, and I already got one running down there. That's good, that'll distract them. This is what I can use with this. This is just broken for now. Actually, that's the last thing we need fixed before we do it. Just the way we have to Photoshop, basically the way we do terminals is we do it in a PowerPoint document, and that has to be exported into images, but it's not PowerPoint isn't exporting the image correctly. So I'm waiting for the person who knows how to do it, who is not I, to get online so we can export all 170 terminal slides. Do I want to go this way? I want to get sprint. Yeah, Jesse basically redid almost the entire HUD. So it now supports 4K displays, and it's using a bunch of new things that have been learned. A lot of stuff that we actually did for the Oddball project impacted this HUD. You know what? Give me 1 second. Let me move the chat window so I can more easily see what you guys are saying as I play. Okay, that's better. Alright, that's better. Now I can have to look at my other display to see you guys. You guys will see the new sprint mode here too. So I'm kind of just playing this as if I was somebody stepping into the level for the first time, trying to avoid cover. We tried to make this area be as open worldy as we could. Originally, the way this went was that there were going to be Covenant guns, anti-aircraft guns, at all the places where you rescued the Marines, and you'd have to go to each and one of those. But we quickly found that to be really boring, so the whole mission kind of got reconfigured. Finding a way to get to Alpha Base, and you'll see that unfold. I'm only going to play about half this mission. I'm testing a few things here. I was testing the terminals that were added, and I also need to test to make sure a new piece of the HUD works for a waypoint.
That's the target, but it looks like the entrance is shielded. Let's figure out how to take it down.
Most players will realize then that they can't go there. So where do you go? You go explore. And you can pretty much approach this level almost any direction. We tried to make this a lot like the second mission. Same sort of mental attitude. Going around and trying to explore this open world-like area. But get you to interact with different areas of it in ways that you may have not the first time. Depending on where you go, you'll trigger different stuff. Like, here we got the enforcers that are now patrolling over there. Part of what makes doing this whole project so difficult. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to do with this too, is make sure that we had Spec Ops jackals and Spec Ops teams mixed in. This takes place after peace, so. Oh, that's good. I wanted to get some of the Black Armored Covenant in more. As you have like these interesting duels with them. Look like they're engaging with the float over there. But when you do missions like this that can be approached in so many different directions, you never actually know. Oh, come on. Really? On a stream? I find you? I know one of the testers is here. Could one of the testers please log this in the channel? That's a really unexciting reveal of Blind Wolf, guys. I'm playing a legendary now.
I can forge an override code and convince it to lower those defense shields. Head through the cliffs.
Also, here you can see the new zoom behavior. We've added a lot of new zoom behaviors to the guns. It's a little bit like Smart Scope in 5, but not quite. We try to do it a little bit differently. Instead of the guns being better when you go into zoom mode, they often will have some advantage, but they'll also have a disadvantage. I should probably not swear on this stream. Oh, sorry, I'm not even looking at it. I've got to focus on the gameplay a fair amount, but I'll try to take a pause and do it in slow down moments. This is a pretty intense mission. Now, one thing that I'm a little bit worried about when we release this thing is I know people are going to want to play the new missions, but the new missions are really, like, late in the game. And because of that, I'm afraid some people will go in and be like, this is too hard. But really the best way to play SPV3, even if you played before, is to start at the beginning. Should probably steal all my things on heroic for now on. Also, you can check out the entire new sprint system in here and just how good it looks. This was actually a really annoying thing to develop, but I'm really glad that we redid the whole system. Funny enough that the whole way we're able to do it actually came out of the stuff we were doing for the energy source for the commander missions. And if you haven't seen the commander missions, you should check out Vengeful Bottom's channel. He just put a video up the other day.
Wraiths.
What did Jesse do? Jesse broke this. Okay. So I still have to fix that.
Well, that could come in handy.
There's another camp over here. Now you can see that there's a passage in the cliffs over there. Instead of taking the route I took, you could also go through the big hill area from earlier. Oh, and you guys probably haven't seen much of this either. Part of the new post-processing effects we have allows you to have like water droplets appear on the visor. So you can see them here as you get near the waterfalls. It'll emit, water. I can get, because the math works in a way where, okay, I can go. I was gonna say it's gonna be annoying if I have to go up. The closer you get to the source of it, the more you get. Now another original thing about this mission was that it was going to be almost all Grizzly focused. It was going to be a little bit more like the package from Halo Reach, but we had a little bit of trouble making it fun, and then eventually as the idea changed, I was like, oh, we should really use the mortar wraith for it, and it turned out to be the best thing ever, because once we started flying with different vehicles, we realized when you have this rock slide area, there's a certain advantage you have in the Wraith that you don't have with any other vehicle, and you've actually never had a mission in Halo before that wants you to take advantage of the mortar on the Wraith tank. So you got these jackals and stuff over here that you can blow up. You got guns over there, but here's the cool thing. I'm hiding behind a rock so they can't see me, but since it's a mortar Wraith, you can actually use this to hide behind cover with the vehicle and bombard and kill them. And since all the brutes here have LMGs and rocket launchers, staying out in the open, especially on higher difficulties, is pretty dangerous. No, you're getting all 17 missions on July 6th. So you're getting a re-release of the 11 you had before. And then you're getting 6 new ones. This being the first of the 6. Yeah, this whole idea here is that you can use the mortar in ways that you wouldn't be able to use it in prior games to take guys out from behind cover. Pretty low on ammo over here. Not really how I'd like to go into this encounter on Legendary, but what can you do? I know it's because the stuff on people I know, so I guess we're gonna notice that. Kind of works. Also, we discovered a bug with our old brute AI, so the brutes of brute shots are a lot more dangerous now. We've actually kind of had to fundamental shift in the way we do some stuff with the brutes, which you'll see in future projects as well, and you see it more in Lemuria. Instead of using them in greater numbers, we let them have better weaponry that makes them more dangerous but easier to take out, rather than trying to make them basically do as much damage output as elites, but in greater numbers. So again, they're trying to get you to go through areas you've been before, but in different ways. Now it's you're who assaulted the Covenant going through the rocks rather than the Covenant trying to get you. So it's kind of the reverse. Yeah, it is, I mean, well, it is the reverse of... Hey, Jazz, check your DMs on Discord, because the only thing really holding this back is a bug in Lemuria B, and getting all 170 terminal bitmaps in. Ah, crap, that's not good. And then we can send out the release candidate to people. Actually, I got Jesse's HUD bugs fixed too, with the waypoint for the Wraith. I gotta see what's going on with that.
Do it. Shield should be down.
As you see here, this is actually leftover from Oddball that we brought in here, where the Jackal charge shot, Jackal plasma pistol shot, actually spreads and hits an impact, and then the fire sticks and it spreads over time. Also, when you do your Spartan charge, it has extra damage and force, so you can send guys flying off cliffs and stuff. If you're part of our Discord, we open it up to people, but as it is right now, this next build is going out mostly to press and a few testers and regulars in the Discord, but depending on how things go, we might open it up to more people. I mean, ideally we'd like to just release it to everybody, but the problem with doing something like that is that we need to work with each and every person in case they have bugs, so we have to do a slow rollout. 1 second. I'm talking to a fellow dev. Well, the more you talk to the Discord, you know, because we want people we know, you know, not calling anybody dumb, but we need if we're gonna have testers, we need people who are quick thinkers, who understand what's going on, who we can trust will, you know, not waste our time with, you know, questions or needing stuff explained to them. the 3 lines under the health section provide gameplay function, or is it just pretty lights? It's just pretty lights. I think if you think 343 should hire me, you should help us make sure this game becomes as widely known as you possibly can when it releases. So tweet it, share it with your friends, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. The situation since the last time we released has certainly changed with stuff with MCC on PC, so you never know. So cool thing with a lot of the Enforcer combat, I'm going to probably get killed here doing this, but you'll see it later in the mission. Man, I cannot hit this thing today. I'm at a really weird angle. So the fundamental difference between the Grizzly when it comes to fighting these things... Ah, crap. I called it. So, with the Enforcer shields, the cool thing about this is that when you have the Wraith tanks, using the plasma fire is really effective, taking down the shield and a single mortar to destroy it. Whereas the Grizzly, the bullets will reflect off the shield, so if you use the main shells on the tank, then you can lower the shield and then you can destroy it with the machine gun on the Grizzly. Another kind of cool thing about this is that we are finally able to take advantage of the headlights on the Wraith. No, sprinting is a whole thing. Sprinting was never a vehicle, it actually had you riding in another biped. Take out the shield, and then one mortar to take it down. So a little bit more than one mortar sometimes if you haven't hit him with anything. This guy gets stuck on a tree this time.
The signal from the relay is starting to clear up.
Chief, make your way to
yeah, the Wraith projectiles have different physics now. Well, you use the Wraith so much more in 3.2 than you did in 1.
Roger that. We're on our way.
Like this mission has a lot of Wraith action, and parts of the commander missions make use of the Wraith. So the Wraith is a lot more enjoyable. It's actually like a featured vehicle now rather than just kind of something you can find and occasionally use. This is another kind of cool area. Like, so you got this anti-air Wraith over here. But you can, since it's a mortar Wraith, you can actually find a position over here where you're covered and launch your projectiles over. Same thing with these guys over here. So you can strategically use the Wraith to find cover, and so it's kind of a really interesting mechanic that came out of this mission, which was already hilly and unique on its own, but finding different ways to use the sandbox, different elements in the sandbox to do something new and different was a pretty cool aspect of this mission. Never mind just the whole aesthetic of this. These smoke plumes are actually something that came out of Oddball 2 that we were looking at doing when we were looking at some ways that they did their skyboxes in Halo 4. So, there's a lot of remnants of Oddball that are lingering in this. Yeah, sprinting is so much better. The entire system is overhauled. And we put a lot of time into getting it to work At one point, we almost just had it be where you'd put your weapons away and run with your fists, which would have been the easy thing for us to do, and we could have saved a lot of time, but I was kind of like, no, we're gonna sprint. You need to see the hands, like half the fun, like you need to see the weapon moving, that's half the fun of seeing it. Again, over here, you can also use hover over here to attack these Spec Ops Covenant. Do we have any beta testers in the channel? One second. Hey Kane, can you mark down on the bug tracker that we should fix this flashing for the vehicle health bar? I don't know why it's doing that right now.
I'm seeing numerous IFF tags, painting the closest one on your HUD.
And also log at the nav point for the Wraith isn't showing the on-screen icon.
Johnson?
And as cool as this mission is, it really felt janky until Soy came in and did an entire pass.
All the way up.
Wow, I cannot hit shit. Did an entire pass getting a lot of this audio in. Like, we had figured out what we wanted to do with the audio very early on. In fact, years ago, even before 3.1 was out. Because this was originally a map plan for 3.1. But, you know, once we got all the audio working and we figured out exactly what we could do with it, like, the mission really came to life. Right through the So, the plan was always to have you climb over the wall, but you can actually take this path in here too. For, I guess, I mean, it's the harder one to do, but for people who can't figure out to go over the wall, even when there's a nav point there, that exists. But yeah, sprint's really cool. I'll take the hard route. You can see there's been busted up grizzlies over here, like describing the book how the humans held off attacks.
The Marines got trapped trying to get through these doors. Hold them off long enough for me to open the doors.
One unfortunate thing about the way they do the audio in Halo 4 is that they have these voice filters on Cortana, so we improved it. I mean, if you listen really carefully, you'll hear that there's a little bit of static and distortion. But you kind of have that line in there about there being interference. Stuff like that, but I still think it pulls off pretty well, and there's not much that can be done about it. I mean, it's just kind of the nature of what we do that sometimes you have to put up with stuff like that. Yeah, you get the flood jumping over the walls here. Man, Marines are doing a good job handling that. You also have these damaged hogs here where the Marines have used them as encampments and made them into makeshift turrets, as described in the book as well.
Passageways unlocked.
You'll just see all the debris from the phantoms that you may have killed earlier, and the Marines will run to the warthogs here. Come on, Marines. Got me.
Oh, come on. Impress me.
Johnson?
Whoa. Fortunately, one thing about flood missions, anytime you do sequences like that,
Climb all the way up.
it's never actually safe when you have non-stop action like that. So it makes it very difficult to do a checkpoint. We actually kind of break the rules of the checkpoints a few places in this mission, because otherwise you'd never get one. But being late in the game, even though it's kind of sucky to have rare checkpoints, it makes sense given the severity of it. Yeah, sprint is completely new.
Impress me.
Johnson? Climb all the way up.
Part of the original kind of idea of this mission, I don't think you probably could have done a better job doing it in terminals, but it's just kind of what we were thinking, was that the reason why everything's on fire is not just because of the battles that you have going on between UNSC and the Covenant, but that the Forerunners are trying to burn down the forest and eliminate all of the flood in there, and that's forcing them out of the forest and into the cliffs where everybody else is fighting, so they're basically herding everybody together, burning parts of the ring. I'm just gonna make a checkpoint here for now, just for the sake of streaming. I'll take this route this time. Also, cool thing, check out these trees. These trees have the glowing embers and stuff, and they're randomized, so sometimes you'll see them with their branches still. Sometimes they'll have the little twigs, and other times they'll be completely bare. It's done by random, so scientifically it doesn't make perfect sense, but it really adds a nice atmosphere to the level and is true randomness, so it never feels like we forgot to make a tree burned or whatever. See the pelicans taking off over here. Well, we don't express maybe as well as we could. One of those is Polanski with Johnson on board, getting ready to leave. That you'll be able later in the first strike book. The doors open left from over there, coming in from the back of the base. So you can also use Spartan charge to knock dudes far away from where you want from your Marines and stuff. So when you have a runner form like that, you can infect all your Marines. Oh no, poor Marine. And here, like I said, the enforcers are all coming to burn everybody out of the hills.
Keep going! Keep going!
Shit. Aerial contacts inbound. We left a tank in the tunnels approaching Alpha Base. Use that to make your way to where we first landed. This Pelican there waiting.
Still trying to show off here. Yeah, you have to replace every file that shipped with SPV3.1. This is the mission right before them all. So I'm actually gonna do this one for real this time. Not do the cinematic showing off of it. I don't really like streaming stuff that much because you gotta be part showman, and especially when you're someone like me trying to get all this shit done. You know, trying to show off stuff, explain it. Bug test is not the easiest thing. But I want to show you guys all the cool little touches we did too. Like here you can see all the flood coming from the fields. But if you can get up over here and you don't mind all your Marines elsewhere possibly getting massacred.
Passageways unlocked.
Doesn't infect my Marines. The pushback on the Spartan charge is really exaggerated, but it's just too much fun not to have on that. We got rocket launcher dude somewhere. Sorry, dear Marine.
Aerial contacts inbound. We left a tank in the tunnels approaching Alpha Base. Use that to make your way to where you first landed. There's a Pelican there waiting.
Yeah, so here, this is an unwinnable fight. You got all these enforcers coming in, even though there's like a lot of rocket launcher ammo and stuff. Like, if you stay here, you will not win. I don't really normally like doing encounters like that. Maybe a spark card in this guy. I knocked him right through the door. Yeah, so I don't normally like encounters like that where you can't win them, or where there's an infinite amount of guys, but just the uniqueness of the situation and what's supposed to happen, the fact that you fail in saving your Marines, needs to, you know, was something that needed to happen.
Chief, I'm so sorry.
So yeah, there's multiple versions of the SMG. The regular one that you use, it has the stock collapsed for close quarters combat and stuff. Then the Lemuria SMG has the stock fully extended, as that has twice the fire rate of the regular SMG. And then the Spec Ops one has everything equipped. So stock extended, scope on top. Some more Sentinel Enforcers coming out of the hills, coming after dudes. And like the Covenant are just being finally mopped up here. Like the Flood are coming, the Forces are coming. We got Banshees coming in to try to take out the Enforcers. This is actually a pretty easy area unless you're going in on foot. This is like really all atmospheric stuff here. Interactive atmospheric stuff. It's not really an encounter, at least I don't consider this to be, you know, an encounter you fight. I mean, you're just blowing through them in the tank anyway while they're distracted. No plans for multiplayer. We'll never do multiplayer in Halo 1. That's 100% certain. Whether we mess around with stuff in the MCC when it comes to the PC is another story. I've had multiplayer ideas that I wanted to do for years. It just hasn't been a platform that would let us do it the way we want to without jumping through crazy methods. Yeah, you can still headshot Flood. Regular non-charge melee has always been effective versus the Flood in our mod. But the Spartan charge is what will send the Flood flying backwards.
The enemy of my enemy?
This is kind of a cool sequence too, because you rarely have tank defense. I don't think you've actually ever had an area in Halo before where you've had a tank, but the infantry is so overwhelming that you're actually forced to play defensively. So that's what we have here. And we're trying to take out as many dudes as possible. Especially with the human weaponry, they can really eat into you. Here you have, well, you can't see the wraiths that were here, but there you got the sort of idea for them. But depending how you do it here, you could be fighting wraiths on the other side of the bridge. Looks like here they took most of each other out. Okay. What's nice about a lot of this geometry is that you don't ever have tank sections and stuff like this where you have to expose yourself. The movement here with the tank is unlike anything else you really have in an officially designed tank section. You know, since this is all retrofitted for the tank. But, I mean, is it a good tank section? I don't know. It's definitely a different tank section. So in my book, that's almost more important. I guess I'm going to finish the entire mission, then I'm going to have to end the stream. I actually can't see. How many people do we have in stream right now? Oh, that should have changed by the same degree of sex. One of the testers log that too. The terminals are the last thing we're adding into the mod. Super annoying thing to work on.
I have a lock on a Pelican's IFF transponder.
at least 4. I prefer to help the Banshees in this fight, just because I find the Enforcers to be a bit more dangerous. And the Banshees really don't hold the candle to the Grizzly.
Covenant hold up in the middle of this structure. We need to clear them out. Do anything. Like they're actually afraid. Got Jackal snipers up there in the glare. Alright, let's get moving. Oh, so you can pick up health packs and stuff now with Spring. Here you can see there's more spec on Covenant. That rocket. Yeah, reshade's terrible, don't use a reshade. You have everything you need from reshading. There's some cool stuff you can do with reshade, but not with here, and reshade will probably crash your game. This game is not stable with reshade. Marty McFly, who does a lot of reshade stuff, helped us with this. So like we fine-tuned a lot of the reshade stuff into this.
Covenant holed up in the middle of this structure. We need to clear them out.
Truth be told, I kind of wish we didn't do this as a tank section sometimes. I mean, it's fun stuff with the tank, but we might be able to do some other interesting stuff here too. But luckily, we can update whenever we want now, so. But if we did this part all on foot, then it would be way too much of the same that we already did before. Okay, I would say from here. So yeah, lots of really open-ended stuff over here is what we tried to do. You know, very circular encounters. The cool thing about this brute shot, we actually didn't know how it should be animated for sprinting, but luckily they had the brute shot in Halo Online with sprinting, so we were able to draw inspiration off that. So the Grizzly tank is actually less accurate than it was in the last release. The difference is that there was an aiming bug in the old release, which made it not always aim where your reticle was, and that's why people thought it was so inaccurate. There we go. Get stuck in there, dude. No, we've never had any legal issues. I mean, legally they wouldn't be able to shut us down if they wanted to. Because all of our content is owned by them. Like, I think they would have to sue themselves or something. I forget how it works. There's something in there. Very early on, Grim warned me about being too public with this stuff, but I think he had just started at 343 and I don't think there was ever any real fear. I mean, if there were people are doing stuff, we're violating copyright, cracking games, stuff like that, you know, for sure there's going to be legal action. But what we do is we're using the tool, we're using the game as it was intended. I don't think they ever expected us to go this far with it, but we are using the game they released as they intended it to be used for the creation of custom content. So, whatever face person is, we actually have that built into here. So we have tone mapping HDR. In fact, if I disable post-processing, you can see exactly what it looks like without it. So that's stuff that you're talking about. Yeah. So we'll be improving the post-processing with subsequent releases. 3.3 is going to come out hopefully end of summer with some firefight stuff, as well as bug fixes. As much testing as we've done for this, it's inevitable that we're going to have bugs to fix. I mean, it's a 17 mission long campaign, 24 hours of gameplay. You know, stuff's going to show up once this gets in the general public. So, if something's critical, we can push updates to players. Smaller stuff we'll probably take our time with. If it requires recompiling a lot of the content. This is not good for me. I'm completely out of ammo. Weapon pistol here or something. July 6th is the release date. The final build is going out to people today.
IDs! Chief, they're friendlies! That console's active. Let me at it.
Put your fire, Emo! Ah, big shit! Make sure it's dead!
We're only going to have one shot at this.
The only mission I think I'm gonna let people stream in full. It's not very spoilerific. Yeah, just go for the infection formula test. I always like getting up on this little perch. I just mess with those grenade throws though. I like it up over here. See when guys are coming to ambush you. Also, the spreader has gotten a better reticle to better gauge your shots and range. Watch out for the runners, because if the runners or the carriers are blind wolves to break your lines, then you gotta deal with the infection. We're interested in the MCC mods for PC, but, you know, it's way too early for us to even really consider what we do with it. I know I would like to do some slight rebalancing on all the games and standardize the gameplay to an extent. I've been jokingly calling it the Masters Chief Collection, but you know, that might just be a pet project of my own. But there's no real plan. We have some more stuff planned for CE. And those projects will be brought into, are being built in mind with the potential of being brought to a later game if we want to. Yeah, we'll never do dual wielding in CE. Not the game, it's something else on my computer. What the hell is the driver? more cross-map unlocks have been added, but one of them that was broken in the last version has been fixed. There's several small changes to weapons. Nothing really that noticeable, but that will all be in the change log, and we might put that out before we release the actual mod. Watch out for the runners because they'll get the infection forms in here. Oh! Yeah, the Marines are all screwed. There's no way to survive it.
We didn't rescue any of the Marines. 100% casualties.
Ah, so close. This fight is really tough on Legendary. No, it has nothing to do. I think it's the heat on my computer. Microsoft Edge is using 200 megabytes of RAM. 200 gigabytes. I mean, wow. Using 2 gigabytes of RAM. Yeah, manual checkpoints is actually a bad feature here, because you would actually just get yourself caught in the death loop. No, I have 16 gigs of RAM in my system. I wouldn't be able to do any of this if I had but let me go, let me quickly close Edge and see if that fixes it. I'm at 100% CPU right now and 71% memory. I don't know what's using shooting my CPU up so much. Windows Explorer. Alright, there we go. There we go, back normal. I had that grenade. Yeah, because Noble will never be here. I'll never get away from him. Yeah, unfortunately, this is the end of the stream because I do have stuff I have to do, but I will be doing more streams. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe. I'll show you guys the opening cinematic of the next mission. Which one do you want to see? Commander Evolved or Commander? Yeah, you could never play with Sprint the way I am right now in the old version. Yeah, as far as I've liked, that was all Edge being a piece of crap. So you guys said Classic, right? Classic? I'm just kidding. I know you guys want to see Evolved.
Commander, we're nearing the island.
You actually noticed some changes here already since Vengeful of Atoms, as we did a bunch of tweaks to the volumetric lighting and stuff near the end. And depth of field stuff, so you'll notice things are a little bit different. Like if you look on his stream, you'll notice there's a little bit of weird extra blurring on the cliff edges and stuff. It's gone.
Our side has taken control of the cartography. They sent a squad of brutes from that group, but we lost contact with them. We need to investigate and clear out the infestation before the Flood gathers more information on the tunnel.
Alright, well this I'm gonna call it a day for now.
Desist!
And just stay tuned to my YouTube and hopefully I'll be streaming again. Later, guys.